Hey Kim, how are you?
I'm really well. Thank you, Kerwin. Thank you for
No
wanting
problem.
to speak with me.
Thanks for coming through for the interview, and
Not a problem.
it's great to see you again.
Thank you.
Of course, great looking jacket.
Oh, thanks.
Alright, to get to the questions, let's see. Okay. Why music? What was it that made you go for the stage?
Well, it was just kind of a natural occurrence. When I was 4 or 5 years old, my mother said I came out singing. So that was just something that I was born into doing.
Okay, awesome.
Kind of chose me.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like everything else. You just sort of wake up one day, you fall into it, or it just starts at some point. Great. Second question. There must have been many influences for you as far as music. What are a few of them?
Well, I could say like life itself is a huge influence because music really is a way of expressing how you feel about life and your philosophies and your theories and situations that happen to you. I mean, a lot of songwriters, you can really hear about who they are in their music because it comes from their soul.
The pain, the struggle, or what you believe,
Yeah.
or what you thought you believed,
Right.
that sort of thing.
Sometimes you could be just sitting there, outside, listening to the birds, and all of a sudden you can hear a song.
The trees in the wind, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I have a lot of those songs.
It's always nice when you recollect with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as other musicians,
well, when my mother always had she had a record collection from Columbia, which we would receive in the mail, and she loved singers like Nat King Cole and all of the jazz musicians. I used to emulate a lot of the singers. So a lot of the songs that I did were really adult songs when I was 10.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So there, and then just meeting different people along the way, and coming to New York in the early '80s, I had the good fortune of singing and being on the same bill with a lot of the jazz greats. My first gig was at Lush Life in New York in the early 1980s. And Kenny Barron was on piano, Eddie Gomez was on bass.
It must have been quite a time.
Yeah, Al Foster on drums, and Dave Liebman and Marion Cowings.
Incredible.
Yeah,
like a real, well, I don't want to say a real era or something like that, just so much as, a time you wish you could have experienced, but alas, you didn't.
Yeah, and it was really wonderful, and in the audience was Eartha Kitt, Abbey Lincoln, Johnny Hartman,
Really?
Roy Eldridge, Milt Jackson, Betty Carter.
Oh,
yeah, because
man.
it was a real place where people would come and hang out. So
that's
that
incredible.
was my introduction to New York and to the jazz scene, which I was on very successfully for from early 80s to like 97, and even now I still kind of dabble into the straight ahead jazz stuff.
That's wonderful. I wish I could have been there, but
yeah. Well, I have recordings.
I will see those. I will see those.
Okay.
Okay, question number 3. Chemistry.
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 Right.
And the Living Museum. Give us the scoop. How'd that come about?
Oh, okay. Chemistry is all original music, and that I've been writing for the last 10 years. And it's a group of musicians that are learning the book of chemistry, and there's professional musicians, and then there's amateur musicians, and people all coming together and playing these songs that are structured songs, but at certain times there's places that allow for improvisation. So we have poets and tap dancers and modern dancers, and I'm looking forward to even expanding on the idea with multimedia, with video, and aromatherapy.
You mean like having
jam,
chubby Buddhist statues to the left and to the right, inserts with the oranges?
Yeah,
the piano starts, you know, doing its thing and all that. That would be
yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah, and then like people coming wherever we go, we add on for different musicians coming, and they all of a sudden somebody from the back starts playing the saxophone unexpectedly. And,
Oh, that would be amazing.
We've had a lot of fun with the project, and it just keeps expanding.
The gentle vibration of a tuning fork tapped against the table, just at the right
like
time.
Like it's Dada, like everything's art and everything's
everything's beautiful.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Yeah. And in jazz, everybody really strives for excellence,
right.
Which is, comparable to like a European classical music. But when I had my stint with George Clinton from P-Funk, I got another vibe about how chemistry in the living museum should be also, because George always said that it's good to use musicians that aren't really experts at their craft, because they bring another essence and nuance to the project. So that was really good advice. Thanks, George.
Sage advice, sage advice, George.
Right.
All right. Musicians, like many kinds of artists, have it hard. What do you think of the way it's been between performers and those who like book shows?
Oh, okay. Well, what I've noticed, like in the last 25 years, the institutions have really have a lot of different types of music, but the thing is that they don't have classes for people that want to produce music. And I think that if they had that, then it would be an equal balance, and that musicians would be able to play and producers would be able to produce music, and they would both work well together that way, and it would be more of a better balance. Because I noticed in the city there's not that people want music, but they don't really know how to produce it, and they don't know how to advertise it and how to cultivate it. And they put a lot of pressure on the musicians to do everything, and I think if we worked together more, that we would have more fun, and there would be more success.
Tell me about it. It is working together. It's great to see those clips from the other eras where artists and musicians and various people really got together and tried to back each other's play.
Right, but back in the days, even now, like the producers, they would take advantage of the musicians, and the musicians died poor, and the producers have cars and are they have these houses and everything. So I think that we really just need to work together. The business needs to work together, and the artistry needs to work together. We need to figure out how we can do that.
I totally agree. Now I sort of feel like I guess with my generation, like it's too much of a cutthroat separation, little cliques, and people, sort of they could work together more, but it often seems too much of the inability to see someone else's viewpoint or give something else a chance that might not be your cup of tea, but you can't deny that there's something there.
Oh yeah, everything is relevant.
Well, I think that's sort of lost right now on our generation, but perhaps things will get much better.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's a lot of really good stuff going on out there.
Oh God, yeah, there's just so much. Right now I'm realizing that with New York and everything that where my photography is and where it's going, is get out there and see what other people are doing, have that influence the way you might do something or take a picture or whatever.
Yeah, it's all good.
Tell me about it. Let's see, have you always lived in New York? You said you came here in 1980, so I would assume.
I'm originally from Pueblo, Colorado, and I grew up in the Rocky Mountains. And I moved from there when I was a junior in high school to Houston, Texas. I was there for like 3 or 4 years. My mother moved there when she was the only woman selling steel in the South.
Really?
Rebar steel. So I followed her there, and I attended the high school for the performing and visual arts. But I was second-year alumni, and from there, then I went to Sweden and worked there for like 6 months as I was 19 or 20 years old, and then from there I came to New York.
God, I must have
been.
been.
I've been here ever since.
Magical time to be in Sweden at that point. I've heard things very good.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay, what was it like when you were first performing in New York City?
When I first performed, well, it was a learning experience. Being in New York, you learn your craft faster than you would anywhere else in the world. that's why a lot of people come here. And when I first came here, I had a lot of experience performing and singing, and I had, successfully been in a lot of different towns. But when I came to New York, it just felt like there was a lot for me to learn, and I made the best use out of it. And I used to go to Bradley's and all these places. And
Bradley's?
Yeah, Bradley's. It was a famous place on University Place, another hang besides Lush Life. And you can hear the greatest musicians and authors. And I met James Baldwin there. And,
oh man!
I got my sketch of a portrait from Tony Bennett. Like on a napkin. And, you would
cool.
just hang out and you'd just learn about life and about music and art and culture. And then just in New York, it's just so diverse with so many cultures that I really love that, because in Colorado, we didn't have that many
Tell me about
cultures back then. There are more now, but back then there wasn't. And then in New York, it's just a fabulous place to learn about everybody else's religion and culture, and I just love that.
I think we're seeing like an even higher influx of people from outside of New York within the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Like that young lady who was at Bowery Poetry Cafe. She said she was from L.A.
Uh-huh.
She's been here for 3 years. I met other people who were from Pennsylvania and Pig's Knuckle, Arkansas, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's great. It reminds you of that time in the 80s when you had a huge influx of various artists coming in while they were a lot of the middle class and everyone else leaving the city, saying money's running out, things are getting bad, we're out to the suburbs,
Yeah.
creating a nice little void.
Right. And I consider, some musicians and artists think of people that don't do music and art as professional civilians, but actually I think that they're just as talented in what they do. I think everybody's really creative, so a lot of times when I want advice, I have a combination of people from all walks of life coming to the table, because it's incredible what people come up with.
That's a really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing. It's a good way to be more open-minded or not so exclusive, I guess.
Yeah.
But you can meet so many different kinds of people here that can do this and that, and whereas you can't. Or even if they can do the same thing as you, they're not doing it the same way, chances are.
I never really felt competitive towards anybody. I just really felt that maybe they had something more, that I didn't see in a certain way, or maybe I could offer something that they didn't see. And it was
I agree.
just a good exchange. I never really put myself in that kind of pressure or stress.
That's what it's about. It's about the exchange with your fellow artists and learning from them and seeing their points of view. I never really feel competitive with others. I kind of like being in the same show or doing the same thing as them or coming together for an idea, not for competitiveness, but just what are you going to learn out of it?
Yeah, it makes life more exciting.
Tell me about it. But
and less stressful.
Definitely, when there's at least 3 or 4 heads coming together to do any one thing, it's got to make it a little bit less stressful in a way.
Yes.
But that's amazing. All right, Kim, thanks for coming through for this interview.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I just wanted to mention that I have 2 wonderful children that grew up in the artist community. Alexander Cowings, who tap dances and performed just recently for the Duke Ellington, Mercedes Ellington for his birthday.
Really?
And my daughter Emily King, which she was nominated for a Grammy in 2008, and she performs all over town, and she has some new music out. So,
cool.
Look out for the family.
Definitely. Let me know when she's performing. You said Rockwood Music Hall.
Yeah,
so,
she has some spots that she likes. You can look her up, Emily King Music and Alexander Cowings.
Alexander Cowings. All right, totally.
All right.
I will do that. Sounds great, Kim.
And also, if you want to get a hold of me, it's my website is reverbnation.com/chemistry and the Living Museum.
Wonderful, Kim. Wonderful.
Okay.
Thanks again for coming through.
Thank you, Kerwin.
Totally appreciate it. You look fabulous today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Peace, everybody. Peace and love.